All right, so my first experience with trading, it honestly sucked. I had no idea what I was doing. Obviously, like I was just first starting out. But the worst part about it was when I did start taking it serious, the only thing that I could manage to do was blow my accounts. I was trading options. I was trading shares here and there, but mainly like small caps. I was following idiots on Twitter that I thought knew what they were doing because they were posting these big gains. And I was like, oh, I just follow this guy, you know, easiest thing ever. That didn't work at all. So what would happen is I would buy options, right? They would go. I'd have trades that would turn green, like I would be in profit, and I'm like, oh, I'm starting to make some money. I'm up 20%, whatever it is. Pretty quickly, those trades would turn around, and I had no idea when to cut my losses. So those would just keep going down lower and lower, and I would buy more. So I'd average down to the position. That was probably one of the worst ideas I could have ever had, like ever, because that never worked. Averaging down over and over and over never worked. So then I thought, you know what? I got to start taking profits earlier. I can see when I'm up, right, on these profits or on these trades. I can see when I'm in profit. Why don't I just take the profit when I'm in profit? And then I would do that, and now I would see the stock is up 50 times what I sold it for. So I could have made back all my losses. And I was like, damn. So now what? And I just kept doing that over and over and over. And I'd fall into this vicious cycle of seeing a trade go from green to red to then me averaging down, end up selling for a bigger loss, and then just keep blowing account after account after account and be like, oh, well, I just need to lock in the profits. And locking in the profits, either the trade would just be fucking red again, or I'd lock in a tiny bit of profits and the stock would go higher, or I just couldn't seem to stay consistently profitable. So the biggest issue that I had was just not having a system, not having a set of rules. That was my biggest issue, and that's probably your biggest issue. Now, I'm going to show you guys really quick because obviously I've came a long way. Let me screen share here. Obviously I've came a long way. Now, I'm sitting here on BBAI. I am up. Let's see what I'm up today. I put in about $23,000 into this stock. I am up $10,675 on this position, which is pretty absurd. But it's safe to say that I am extremely profitable now. So I've been making a shit ton of money doing this. And I've got some information for you guys. I've got a strategy that I'm going to give to you, and I'm going to try to make this as quick and as simple as possible. Make it as easy to understand because I don't want you guys to continue struggling. If you're a struggling trader, this is going to help you out a shit ton. So, really quickly, stop day trading because that does not work. It's not that it doesn't work, but you're not going to catch the big moves. The big moves happen on larger time frames. So if I'm looking at BBAI, right, why is this thing up 50% in 2 days? Well, because I'm looking at the bigger picture. If I was sitting here looking at this, what the fuck is this going to tell me? The 5-minute chart. What is the 1-minute chart? It's just noise. Like, it doesn't matter. Don't focus on that. Focus on the hourly time frame and the daily, preferably the daily. This is the main one. Now, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for the top 2% of stocks. I want to see the ones that are going up the most, the strongest stocks within the last certain time period. So I have 6-month gainer here, 3-month gainer, and 1-month gainer. I have some other ones, but these are the main ones we're going to focus on. Now, I really like the 3-month gainer, and we can see BBAI pops up right here. So I'm looking for the strongest stocks. Now, there's a way that you can determine what stocks are the strongest before they actually become the strongest. I'll get to that in a second, but the basics of this is we want to see a big move up. We want to see the stock pull back, make these lower highs and higher lows. So we want to see, this basically, right? If I were to just draw this out, this is what we're looking for. We want to see the stock make a big move up, pull back, and start bouncing within this range and come to a tight range at the end. So we want to see it kind of dying out. And as it's dying out, this is like bouncing back and forth, getting tighter and tighter and tighter. We want to see if the volume is doing the same thing as well. I got a couple examples that I'm going to show for you, or not show for you, show you guys. But that's the basics of it. So a big move up, a pullback, higher lows here, and lower highs here, a tightening range. And as soon as this starts breaking out, so we can see this is breaking out right here, I'm going to go to the 1-minute chart, and this is where I'm going to enter it. So I go here on the 1-minute chart. Now you want to enter this as soon as the 1-minute highs are taken out. we can see right here, this is the first 1 minute candle. This day right here, that's when this opened. So the first minute of market open, we have a high right here. It's at 450. As soon as that high is taken out, we're going to buy it. So this candle kind of shot up pretty quick. I ended up buying a little bit later, actually. But let's just say you buy it here, 458. Stop goes at low of the day, which is 446. Your stop loss always stays at the low of the day. Now, if you're buying here, 459 down to 446, that's a 2.82% stop. So the most that you can lose on this position is 2.82. Now, let's say you put in your whole account. The most you can lose is 2.82% of your account. I would never suggest that you put your whole account in on a trade like that. You want to be risking about 1%. So if this is about a 3% wide stop, you're going to put about 30% of your account in. I actually put a lot less, unfortunately, and this one is doing really good. So I took really low risk on this, but you know, it is what it is. I'm still up $10,000, which is fucking nuts. So yeah, the basics of it is just a big move up. Stock pulls back. We get these lower highs and higher lows. Comes to this pinch, the range is tightening, and then it breaks out, and we want to see that it breaks out on high volume. We buy it on those opening range highs like I just showed you on the 1 minute, and then after that, we're going to hold the position. Now, when am I going to sell some of this? I'm going to sell some of this at the end of today. Now, I always wait until the end of the day to sell any of my position, a portion of it, whatever it is. If I'm going to sell anything, I'm going to wait until the end of the day. Now, the importance of that is because majority of the times on these runs, candles close towards the high of their day. You can see great example right here on this one, great example on this one, this one, this one. Like all these green days, the chance of them closing towards the high of the day is very, very high. You can go back and you can look at that on whatever chart you want. When they're closing green, usually the high of the day is near the close price. Not sure what it's going to be, but you know, that's just my guess, right? Because of how things have been in the past. So if I want to look for a stock, what am I going to do? I'm going to go on here. I also have this volume scan, so we can pay attention to some of these really quick. So if I'm on the volume scan, right, I'm going to give you guys all these tools. If I'm on the volume scan and I'm looking at this throughout the day, what do I notice? Well, obviously BBAI is on there, but I'm going to notice ACB. This is one that I noticed today, and I'm like, interesting. This is gapping on earnings or something like that. Yeah, it looks like it was earnings. Gapping on earnings, and this is starting to pick up. So is there anything else in this group maybe that's doing good? Let's see. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. CGC, another weed stock, gapping as well on high volume. This is starting to gain momentum. This is starting to go in the direction that I want it to. Is there anything else? Let's keep looking. So I'd keep going through this scan, the volume scan throughout the day, and I want to watch what is picking up. So we have Grail. This is a good breakout right here. Big move up, pulls back to the 10. You can see, you know, pretty decent range, puts in these higher lows, breaks out here, and it looks like it wants to go higher. Another one, Wrecker. Big move up, pulls back, builds somewhat of a tightening range, mainly these higher lows, and now it's breaking out. You can see on the hourly here, it built a pretty good range before it started to go higher. This so far is up about 18% today. So we're focused on really fast moving stocks. This is going to make you a shit ton of money. A lot of people, you know, want to trade options and stuff like that. And don't get me wrong, I like it. But it's not as easy as trading shares. And you can make so much more money trading shares. I know you guys see me turn like a few $100 into tens of thousands. But I'm telling you, I make more money off of shares. So that's why I'm giving you this system. But going back to the thing. So I'm looking at the volume scan. I can see what's picking up. This is day one of this picking up. So CGC, we have Tilray, we have MSOS, we have ACB. ACB to me looks like the strongest. It looks like it's getting the most volume. This is making the biggest move. This is the strongest stock of the group. So I would put on my list, right? ACB, CGC, MSOS, Tilray. MSOS I don't really need because it's kind of like an ETF, I think. Yeah, it's the cannabis ETF. But Tilray, right? These individual liquid stocks. Tilray, CGC, and ACB. These are the ones that I'm going to look for. Now, recently, this had the exact same thing. So, ACB, big move up, pulls back to the moving average. Volume was dying out. Thin candle right here on the 10, breaks out. As soon as it's breaking out, I'm buying it. And then you can see, you know, everything does good. So, buy it when it breaks out. Sell it when it closes under the 10. You need a very, very basic set of rules. So, the basic set of rules for me is just find a stock that starts gaining momentum. Pay attention to it. Find a group of stocks that starts gaining momentum. Pay attention to that whole group. And you want to see, is this making a big move up? This is up 50-something% in 24 hours. This is making a very big move. I want to see how this acts. Is this going to build a range from here? What's going to happen? So I put it on my watch list. I'm going to watch it. Now, if we go back to BBAI, we can see that back here, this started gaining some volume. Right here, this gapped up. This is when I started looking at it. And then it gapped up again on some more volume. It was putting in higher lows. This thing starts climbing higher and higher and higher. Even more volume right here. Starts gaining momentum. Pulls back to the moving averages. Builds a range right here. Breaks out. Continues higher. Pulls back. Builds a little range here. Thin day right here. Breaks out. I did buy this one as well. And then it closed under the 10. So I sold it right here. Continues to build this range, right? As it's continuing to make higher lows. And then it makes lower highs. The range tightens. The volume's dying out. And right here, this is the big breakout. And here is when I'm up probably like 11K now. Let's give that a look. I'm up $11,425. So this has been 10 minutes in this video, and I've already made $1,000. That's not secured, but you get the point. And I only put in $23,000 into that position. And now my position is worth, so I put in about 23K. Let's see. I put in $23,425. Now my position is worth about $700. That is pretty good. That is a huge return on investment in a very short period of time. So the basics of this whole system, it's very, very straightforward. Look for a stock that's gaining momentum. You want to see the top 2% of the strongest stocks. And then if they're all following a group, that's best. So before we had the quantum computing stocks, this was really, really good. This one was leading the group because it was making the biggest moves. You can see in 2 days, it's made a 232% move. So find a group of stocks that's performing well. Pay attention to them. Watch when they start picking up. See if they give you a setup. Find the one that's making the biggest move. It's the fastest moving out of the group, and trade that one. Now, you're watching this. You want to see big move up, a pull back to the moving averages. So you can see here, pulls back to these moving averages, right? Pulls back to the 10, surfs the 10 pretty good. It starts coming back up and then drops down to the 20 here, puts in a thin day here on low volume. Next day, breaks through this range on high volume. That is very, very important, that it's breaking through on high volume. Now, sometimes you're not going to see the volume, right? Because the day's not over, but you should see within the first few minutes that those 5-minute, 1-minute candles are getting some pretty big volume. And you're buying it. As soon as it's breaking out, your stop always goes at the low of the day. And then when do you sell it? When you're up 5 times your risk. So if I were to be buying this here, stop is right about here. Oh, shit, it's a vertical line. Oopsies. Stop is right about here. So once we're up 5 times this, which is, honestly probably on day 1, that is when we sell a portion of our position. So we're going to lock in some profits. Now, if it's not day 1, then it's day 2 here because this is up a shit ton. Buying this around here, this is already up 147% in 2 days. So we buy it here on the breakout. Stop goes at low of day. We sell a portion of the position as it's going up into the strength. We sell into strength. We don't sell into weakness. And then we use the rest to trail with the moving average. So once you sell, right, towards the end of the day, set an alarm for 3:55. I have it 5 minutes before market close. I'm in Eastern Standard time zone, so 5 minutes before close, I have a little alarm that pops up. It says, hey, check positions, and I'll go check, see if there's anything I need to trim. If I'm up 5 times my risk or more, that is when I will sell a portion of the position. Now, the first trim, I recommend 10 to 30%. If you want to lock in more profits, let's say it's up 10 times your risk, you probably lock in like 30%, anything like that. But if it's up like maybe just 5, maybe sell 10, maybe sell 20, something around there. Sell a portion of your position. Never sell the full thing. And once you've sold a portion of the position, your stop loss now goes from low of the day to break even. That way you've already locked in a portion of the profits, and there's no way you can lose on this. And then you're going to continue to hold this until what? We want to see the moving averages. Now, back to the moving averages. We want to see that it holds the 10 SMA. So as long as it holds the 10 SMA, that is as long as that we hold the position. Right here, we can see it closed under the 10 SMA. So we're going to sell it. So buy it here, trim some here, sell the whole thing here. Oddly enough, day 2 and the actual final run, or the end of the run, was pretty similar in price. This is only like a 2-3% difference. So buy it here, trim a little bit towards the end of the day when you're up 5 times your risk or more. Move your stop loss from low of the day to break even. That way you've secured that position. It's now risk-free. There's no way that you can lose. And then sell the entire thing when it closes under the 10. So let's go over all that again. I want you to write down in your notebook a little set of rules. So we have a big move up. The stock pulls back to the 10 and or the 20 moving average. As it's pulling back, we want to see that volume is dying out, and then we should have some thin candles towards the end of the range. As soon as it starts breaking out, we buy it. Stop loss goes at the low of the day. A few days in, probably, or when you're up 5 times your risk, is when you're going to trim a portion of your position. So you're going to sell 10 to 30%, lock in some of those profits, and then move your stop loss from low of the day to break even, and you sell the rest when it closes under the 10 SMA. Now, you can sell more on the way up if you want to. Let's say like up here, you want to take another trim. You want to take 10, 20%. Again, you can do that. There's no problem with that. But never sell the whole thing. Only sell the whole thing when it closes under the 10-day SMA, which is right here. And now we can see this thing's down 38% since that. So very, very simple. Now, BBAI, this is one I'm up well over 5 times my risk on this. I bought it as soon as it was breaking out on high volume. And now today, I'm going to wait until the end of the day. So it's 12. I have, some hours left. At 3:55, I'm going to look to trim this, unless it turns around like crazy. But if you guys watched my last video, I went over this trade, actually, and I showed you guys where it was yesterday. And I was like, I have no idea where this is going to go. Well, little did I know, it's going to be up 41% the next day. There's no emotion tied into this when you're following a strict set of rules. So I gave you guys the rules. Big move up, one of the strongest stocks out, pulls back to the moving averages, builds a tight range, higher lows, lower highs. As soon as it breaks out, you buy it. You got to calculate your position size, because if your stop is, 3%, whatever, it's very dependent on how that's going to be. Like if your stop is at 1%, you can put 100% of your account in, you'll only be risking 1%. So calculate your position size. I'll make another video specifically on that if you guys want that. And then you sell a portion of it into the strength. So you're trimming some of that, you're locking in some of those profits, and now your stop loss goes from low of the day to break even, and then you wait until it closes under the 10. This hasn't closed under the 10. I have nothing to do here. I'm just going to take my first trim today, lock in some of those profits today. What else do we have? Let me show you another example. I could do some of these, although I don't like those too much. Let's go to NNE. This is a stock that I'm paying attention to. So we have OKLO. This is another nuclear stock. This is gaining momentum. This is really, really climbing. This is one of the top performers right now. In the last 2 months, it's up 200%. We're waiting for this to pull back to the moving average and give us that good setup. It pulled back to the moving average here, but it didn't give us that good setup. Now, NNE, this is another nuclear stock. It's not up as much. It's up about 150%, which is still amazing, but not as much. But this is building a very, very clear range here. Look at this. Pulls back to the moving average. We're getting this trend right here. The overall fucking rectangle, dude. Why do I always do that? We're getting this overall trend here, right? We're getting these lower highs, higher lows. This stock is tightening up. We can zoom in here on the hourly. This gives us a zoomed in view. As soon as it starts breaking through here, this is when I'm going to buy it. So if it breaks out tomorrow, then I'm going to buy it tomorrow. But we can see, big move up, pulls back to the moving average. Volume is dying out, and this is a very, very big move up. This is 100-something percent, 150% or so in a very short period of time. This is one of the fastest stocks out there. And it's also in a good group because OKLO, this is going up as well. This is a very, very similar stock, nuclear. LTBR, this is another one, nuclear. Big. Look at the magnitude of these moves. 400% in 26 days. You're not going to find returns like that with your eyes closed, looking at these Apple stocks and trading options on the 5-minute chart. It's not going to happen. This is where the big moves happen. You're getting these day trade style entries. Like I told you guys, you're using the 5-minute or the 1-minute to actually enter off these opening range highs or as soon as it's breaking out. And that way you can get these like day trading style entries where, your risk is so minimal, but the reward is on such a larger time frame that it's like insane. Like this is 326%. You see the breakout right here, don't you? Big move up, right? This is 37% in 14 days, pulls back to this moving average, candles tighten up, and then it breaks out right here. Like it's over and over and over. You'll see this on every stock. You guys can go back and look at whatever stock you want to look at. Let's go take a look at GameStop. How do you catch the GameStop move? When we go in the hourly, check this out. It's the same concept everywhere. Why is my chart frozen? Like this stuff is everywhere, guys. Big move up, pulls back to the moving averages, builds this tightening range, higher lows, lower highs. here. You can't really see because my camera's in the way. Let me move it. You can see the volume's dying out as it's going sideways. Breaks out on high volume. You're buying it there. And, you just continue to hold this position. Look at that. Where does it close under the moving average? You're buying it on the hourly, then you use the hourly moving averages. So you can see here, once you're up 5 times your risk, which is going to be this day for sure, then you sell a portion of the position, move your stop loss from low of day to break even, and sell it when it closes under the moving average, which is right here. So from here to here, what is this? A 98% gain in about 6 days, because I think that was over the weekend. You can't beat it, guys. You really can't. And on the last one, we can see GameStop did the same thing. Same exact thing here. Let's go all the way back. So a big move up. This thing is a very, very strong stock. 400% move in about 5 months. Big move up. Pulls back to these moving averages. Candles start tightening. We get these higher lows. We get these lower highs and these higher lows here. I guess I can't really draw out the higher lows on this one. But thin candle right here before the breakout. Breaks out on high volume. Once you're up 5 times your risk, which is most definitely this day, you sell a portion of the position, move your stop loss from low a day to break even. You continue to hold it. Another breakout right here. Higher lows right here. Builds this little range just like that. And then you can buy it again here as soon as it starts breaking out. You can see it breaks this previous day's high right there. Buy it. Stop goes at low of day. As this made a big move up, pulled back, higher lows. Volume was dying out. Breaks out here, high volume. It's the same fucking thing over and over and over when you're up 5 times your risk, which is either going to be maybe this day or this day. At the end of the day, you're going to sell a portion of your position, and then you're going to move your stop loss from low of the day to break even, and then you sell it when it closes under the 10. So all the way back down here. But still, great gains if you're buying it from here and you're selling it here. That's still 350%. There are some ways to time the top, but it's very, very challenging. That I need a whole video. I'm going to have to explain that for fucking 2 hours. It's very challenging, but I did do it on this one. It works really well when it works. What else do we have? I think I have another one for you. Sound. Here's another great example. Look at this thing. Giant range here. Go to the weekly chart. Giant range here. Higher lows, lower highs after this big move. Pulls back, breaks out. This thing makes a 300, 400% move very quickly. It also happened here. Big move up. Pulls back to the moving averages. Oh, my camera's still in the middle. Shit. Big move up. Pulls back to the moving averages. Higher lows, lower highs. And right here we can see, volume's dying out. Then it breaks out on high volume. And you trim some of it when you're up. And you don't sell it until it closes under the 10. So here, all the way to here. That's 192% in 1.3 months. Very impressive gains. Now here's another setup on sound. These things are everywhere. You guys have to master this setup. They're everywhere. Big move up right here. About 138% in a couple days. Higher lows. Volume's dying out. Pulls back to almost to the 10. Very thin candle right here. Right before breakout. Breaks out as soon as it takes out that previous day high. That's when I'm buying it. Stop goes at low a day. High volume on that breakout. When you're up 5 times your risk, sell a portion of the position, which is either this day or this day. I'm pretty sure it was this day. And then sell the rest when it closes under the 10, which is here. So pretty fucking straightforward. And now you actually have a system to follow. You have a set of rules. You're no longer going to be sitting there holding these positions, hoping, are they going to turn back into green? You know exactly what to do. You don't need to average down. You don't need to do any of that shit. TEM, this is another stock that I'm in right now. What am I up on this? Tempest AI. I'm up 225%. I actually have options on this. $4,771. BBAI, $11,275 about, and some pennies. But, yeah, it's pretty fucking straightforward. And I don't know what else to tell you. This is, one of the easiest ways that you can go about this. This is going to give you a strict set of rules to follow, which is going to make you a shit ton of money in the future. I had issues, right? I was telling you guys, I would sit there and hold on to these trades hoping they'd go from, I saw them in profit, so I'm like, they got to get back into profit. They don't owe me anything. The stock doesn't care. What are you doing? Stop day trading. Stop doing any of that stuff. I streamed today in the Discord for an hour. We bought BBAI the other day, and we were pretty much just chatting. I was just holding these positions, and this thing's just going straight up for me. It's making money for me. I don't have to actively jump into new positions when I'm in the best stocks in the market. How am I in the best stocks? I go here. I use the tool. Go to the 3-month gainer. This has the filter right here. Click on here. This is showing you the top 2% of stocks over the last 60 bars, which is about 3 months. and it's showing you above average daily range 5. So this is going to show you very, very fast stocks that move more than 5% per day. And it's going to tell you right here, this is how you find these things. Let's go look for some setups. We can go look right here. Holy shit, look at that. The setup's on the scan. Perfect setup. You can see it right there. Volume's dying out, big move up, pulls back, volume's dying out, range is tightening. It doesn't get any easier than that. I built the tools for you. I'm going to give you the tools. I just gave you the system. You know, do I have to write it out? Like, what do you need? I don't know, but this should help you guys a lot. Yeah. If you have any questions, let me know. And I will be posting a shit ton more on YouTube because I do like YouTube. I think, you know, a lot of people like to share this stuff. They like to put the clips on fucking TikTok or whatever. I think it makes more sense for me to make these long form videos that are educational, and you guys can post the TikToks rather than me sitting there and posting the TikToks myself. You know, kind of making these videos into a short version because it is a lot to learn. So I think it's better done in long form. But let me know what you guys think. And like I said, if you have any questions, let me know. All right, peace.